combining legal and illegal means to free themselves. Because what is happening there is a genocide. What is happening there, it is a plan by Israel to wipe out every Palestinian in this world. So, comrades, by persuasion, if necessary, that ambassador of Israel must leave South Africa. But if need be, then force must follow. It is not because the people of Palestine are affiliated to any religion or of any color that we offer our solidarity. It is simply because the people of Palestine are human beings. They have a right to live. They have a right to self-determination. So as the Swaziland Solidarity Network comrades, whilst we also engage in a struggle to free the people of Swaziland who are under the dictatorship of King Mswati, who is also sponsored by the United States of America and Britain, we also say, together with all the comrades here, the Israel ambassador must leave. If he does not leave voluntarily, he must be kicked out. All properties of Israel must be boycotted, not just by the people, but also by the government of South Africa. Mandla! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Mandla!
Thank you very much, comrade. Go ahead. Amandla! Amandla! Free Palestine! From the river to the sea! There is only one Palestine, comrade, from the river to the sea. That is why we say the ambassador of Israel must go. Because there is only one ambassador who will represent the Palestinian Arabs, the Palestinian Jews, and the Palestinian Christians. That is the Palestinian ambassador. The Palestinian must go. Comrades, as members of the People's United Democratic Movement in Swaziland, we've got interest in the struggle for the Palestinians because the Israeli regime is in bed with the Swazi regime. As you are aware, one of the biggest tenderpreneurs, Mr. Natikesh, who is one of the people who got the tender to build the wall, the apartheid wall, the Nazi wall in Palestine, is also a Swazi national. He is one of the founders of King Mswati II, Mswati III. The regime in Swaziland, comrades, the armed forces are trained by the Zionist forces from Israel. So the Swaziland struggle is the same as the Palestinian struggle. The Swazis will always align with the Palestinians. Comrades, our message is clear that the Palestinians, the boycott must not only be from the occupied settlements, but every product from Israel must be boycotted. Every product, every Zionist in South Africa who support the apartheid, the fascist, the Nazi regime in Tel Aviv must also be boycotted here in South Africa. Amandla!
Amandla! Amandla! Ellen Howitz from...
No, just, comrades, comrades, one of the major problems at the heart of Zionism is that goodness, that chosenness, flows in the blood of the Jewish people. And that the Goyim, the non-Jews, must necessarily be less than what they are. This is at the heart of Zionism, that your legitimacy to live in the land comes because somewhere this has flown in your blood, and that your importance over other people flows in your blood. This is very contrary to the ideas that many of us here have today. Not all of us, but many of us are Muslims here today. And the Quran is clear about this. وَأَلَّيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. That human beings will have nothing except what they strive for. لَا يُكَلِّفُ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِلَّا وُسْعَهَا. That no burden, no soul will carry the burden except for what it has earned. And this is at the heart of racism. When Nabi Ibrahim, when the Prophet Abraham asked God, وَإِذِ ابْتَلَىٰ إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ قَالَ إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا. When God told Abraham, I will make you a leader over people, Abraham said, وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِي, and my offspring. And God replied, لَا يَنَالُ أَحْدِ الظَّالِمِينَ. That my promise, my covenant, does not include the transgressors. And so this whole idea that chosenness must flow in the blood of people, it is an anathema. Absolutely correct, it is bullshit. Comrades, equally important, equally as much of a bullshit is the idea that evil flows in the blood of people. Amongst a number of us, there is the notion that evil flows in the blood of Jewish people. That is racism. That is racism. We abhor racism wherever it is. Anti-Jewish racism, anti-black racism, anti-white racism. Racism is racism is racism. I say this because the next comrade that I want to welcome to the platform today represents, in the same way that in our liberation struggle, there were many, many white comrades. It was the presence of these white comrades in our struggle who prevented our struggle from being dragged and degenerating into a dirty, long, drawn-out racial war. And today, in the struggle for the rights of the Palestinian people, in the struggle for justice for the Palestinian people, in the struggle for a life of dignity without the occupation for the Palestinian people, we have very many Jews inside that struggle. One of those organizations is Stop the Jewish National Fund, and I welcome Comrade Alan Horowitz from Stop the JNF to speak to us here today. Amandla! Amandla! Viva Stop the JNF! Viva!
Comrades, I stand before you as a Jewish South African, as a human rights activist, and as someone who cannot support the use of violence in the name of liberation. I say that because we have seen in the Middle East today that violence is destroying many different societies on the basis of identity, on the basis of religion. And the conflict in Israel-Palestine has gone on for over a century and has been marked by tragedy because of the confusion of liberation with the suppression of a particular people or the dispossession of their land. Now, we in South Africa, we know that our settlement in 1994 has not been perfect. We do not have an equal South Africa or a perfectly just South Africa. However, we know that our movement, which was largely non-violent, brought us the fruits of the downfall of apartheid in its worst manifestations. And I must say, as a Jewish South African, that those in the Middle East, of whatever persuasion, who believe that violence is the answer, and particularly I address this to the Israeli government, violence will never bring about security, liberation of Jewish people. It is a lie to say that Zionism is truly a liberation movement when it is dispossessing and oppressing and at this point murdering other people, particularly particularly the civilian population of Gaza. We know that the so-called settlement negotiations undertaken by the United States over the last year were really a smokescreen, and that the Israeli government was not in good faith and had no intention to reach a compromise. Many Israeli Jews themselves have been very critical of their own government. Now, we in South Africa, what can we do to support the Palestinian cause? I believe that there is one very clear answer. We must support BDS to the maximum, because only BDS can show the Israeli leadership that the rest of the world, including South Africa, will have no further truck with the methods they are using in the name of Jewish liberation. That is a gross distortion, and in fact, that discredits the suffering of Jewish people at the hands of other fascists in many other societies over the centuries. So we must call upon our own government and exercise the maximum pressure to see that Israel, as it is currently constituted, is isolated and shamed and brought to a genuine settlement to the Palestinian people. Amandla.
Thanks, Comrade Alan. Viva Stop the JNF, viva! Viva the Palestinian people, viva! Away with Ambassador Lenk, away! Pansy Israel, pansy! Pansy Zionism, pansy!
Thank you very much, Professor Farid. We're going to have Comrade Vuyo from the World Federation of Trade Unions. He's going to speak for just a minute. And then from there, we'll have Uncle Yusha and Uncle Nazim to explain what the Gaza docket that the National Prosecuting Authority has and is sitting with and is doing nothing about it. And they'll give more in-depth on the Gaza docket.
Amanda! Amanda! Go to Free Palestine! Free Palestine! And genocide! Comrades, I've got a very brief message. Comrades, I bring you a warm reversal critique from the World Federation of Trade Unions, based in Johannesburg, Africa office. We are, comrades, pledging our heartfelt solidarity, pro-international with the Palestinian people. We join all the organizations that are making a call for the end to the genocide and end to the terror. We're calling as a WFTU, comrade, for the arrest of the butchers of Gaza like Netanyahu, and we're calling, comrades, we're saying, comrades, all the butchers of Gaza and West Bank, comrade, must be arrested, comrade. We have many leaders of the African continent who have been taken and hauled to the ICC in Rome. So we're saying these criminals in Gaza and Israel and Tel Aviv must be arrested as well, comrade. We can't arrest, comrade, without them being arrested. We have seen so much murder and death and violence and bloodshed in Gaza of women, old people, including young kids. We're saying the international community, the UN and the US cannot keep quiet and not act, comrade, when there's this violence and genocide and bloodshed in Palestine. Amanda!
Comrades, those of you who are on Twitter, can you please use the hashtag links and tweet. Comrades, next we have Maulana Ibrahim Bam from the Jamiat al-Ulama, one of the leading Muslim career councils.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It gives me great pleasure to be part and parcel of this wonderful congregation
not only of one faith group, not only of Muslims, but across the faith spectrum and across ethnic lines and across the entire spectrum of South African society, to be able to speak about justice. And perhaps we in the South African context might be able to share the pain and able to share what the Palestinians are going through more than perhaps any other people of this world. And I think I would like to congratulate the organizers and everyone who has come out here, that you have taken a stance not on the basis of any other thing, but on the basis of justice. I think another aspect that I would like to deal with is the aspect of peace. Many a times it is put forward as if the people of Palestine, as if the Hamas or the people of Gaza or the children of Gaza do not want peace. As with some modicum of authority, I can quote the Quranic ayat where Allah Ta'ala says, وَإِن جَنَحُوا لِلسَّلْمِ فَاجْنَحْ لَهَا وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. If anyone is inclined to peace, you also be inclined to peace. Peace is something that we value because it is something that is in the Quran. However, having said that, peace cannot be obtained without justice. Let me repeat this, that peace cannot be obtained without justice. You might have the way you had the Bantustans of the past, in which there was an attempt to make peace, but because there was no justice on the ground, the peace could not hold. In a similar manner, if there is no justice with a peace, you will not be able to bring about justice. That's the first aspect that I would like to bring. The second aspect that I would like to say is that it is a fallacy to say that the people who are in Gaza are not wanting peace, and there are people who are warmongering, or there are people who are terrorists. I ask you the question, which 15-year-old youngster, which 17-year-old youngster would not like a future the way each and every person in this world would like to have a peace and stable future? To other people of Gaza, less human beings, that they do not want a stable future than other people of the world? The fact that they are prepared to go through the difficulty shows that the reason why they are going through this is because there is no notion of peace, irrespective of what the world would like to make to believe. The other aspect is, and I will just conclude with this, is it has been made as if the people of Gaza has rejected peace. And this is something that we need to put to rest. It is not the truth. All the people of Gaza have asked is for peace with dignity. They have asked to end the open prison in which they are living with. They have asked to stop and to end the siege, which has made it difficult for people even to get the basic necessities of life. And they have asked that the 2012 ceasefire be implemented. And that is not a demand that is against justice. It is a reasonable demand, and it is being rejected. And the reason why it is being rejected is because the Israeli government wants to continue its policy of genocide, and wants to continue its policy of oppression, and wants to continue its policy of killing the innocent people of Gaza. But remember, oppression can only last to a particular limit. A time will come when oppression has to come to an end. And one day, the way the oppression in South Africa came to an end, the oppression of the Palestinians will inshallah, one day come to an end. Jazakumullah.
Amandla! 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 Comrades, thank you very much. The president of NUMSA is here. Comrade Shira, President Shira, please join us on the stage.
What is NUMSA? What is NUMSA? National Union of...
Thank you very much. Mandla! Forward with Palestinian people, forward! Forward with the struggle of Palestinian people, forward! Away with Israel, away. Away with Israel bombings, away. Away with Israel genocide, away. Thank you very much. I want to bring you revolutionary greetings from the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa. But also bring you the message of solidarity from workers in this country. The workers are very clear today. Workers have been clear yesterday. Workers will continue to be clear even tomorrow that a freedom can only be a freedom if it is a freedom of all of us. Workers are very clear that we can only be free if Palestinian people are free indeed. And that's why, as NUMSA, we have then said that to us, Israel state is no different from South African apartheid state. Israel has done the same thing that our South African apartheid state has done in this country. As we're speaking today, Palestinian people are being pushed out of their own territory. As we're speaking today, Palestinian people continue to be discriminated in their own country. As we're speaking today, there is a blockage by Israel army today in Gaza Strip. As we're speaking, Palestinian people are continue to be killed every day, every second as we converge here today. If there's a present that we can give to our former President Nelson Mandela is to fight for freedom of Palestinian people. It is very shocking today. It is very shocking today that when Palestinian people are brutally killed on a daily basis, there's too much silence in the world today. It's very shocking today that the Western powers, who must be the first to speak against those who don't respect human rights, who must be the first to speak in defense of human rights, are the most quiet people than ever before today. We're meeting here today to join hands with you, to join hands with PDS and the organizers of this event, to say that the freedom of Palestinian people is our own responsibility. And we must continue to fight for that. We want to say that metal workers are very clear, and it's fresh in their minds, that in fact, Israel as a country, supported apartheid state in South Africa. Again, it's very clear in our minds that it was Palestinians who supported the people of this country against apartheid and oppression. For that reason, we think that our own democratic government must do the same thing that a Palestine government has done. And for that reason, we want to make a call for the following. We want to make demands to our own South African democratic state to act decisively in defense of Palestinian people. We want to say to our own government today that we must shut down the Israel embassy in South Africa. That the ambassador must be sent back to Israel today. We want to make a call to our own South African government that our own ambassador must be recalled from Tel Aviv. We want to make a call today that in our country, our own government must stop any trade relation with Israel. We want to support the call for boycott of Israel product in this country. We want to say that we must mobilize workers across
to refuse to touch products from Israel. As we are addressing you today, workers are on strike in our own sector for a living wage. And workers are prepared to continue to support the plight of Palestinian people. But we also want to make a call that it's important for all of us that we also support the struggle for workers, in particular the struggle for living wage in this country, which is still a dream for majority of the oppressed and the workers of this country. Finally, if there's a way in which we should remember and celebrate the birthday of our own icon, our own founding president of our democracy, is by joining forces with Palestinian people and lead in their struggle for their real freedom against oppression. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Amandla! Viva NUMSA, viva! Viva the workers' struggle in South Africa, viva! Viva international solidarity, viva! Comrades, there's just an announcement that, first of all, I want to acknowledge the presence of former Ambassador Ismail Kuvadia in our midst. He's here, and he's now a major activist also in the Palestine Solidarity movement and in BDS. Welcome, Comrade Ismail Kuvadia. Comrades, onto my left here, there are two tables to the left. I'm not quite sure how people on the right are ever going to get there, but they are making collections and donations on the left. Then there was a second announcement, and that is, I just announced the next speakers? Yes. Okay. Comrades, there is a very important development in the legal field that's happening to try to pin down the Zionists and Zionist atrocities in Gaza. Much of this work has been done by the Muslim Lawyers Association and by the Palestine Solidarity Association. I now want to call Comrade Yusha, who is a lawyer, and Comrade Nazim from the PSA to address the question of the Gaza dockets.
How are you going to hold all? You do the noise
Free Palestine! 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 Amanda! Down with the racist apartheid state of Israel! Down! Let them hear you! Down with apartheid Israel! Down! Comrades, friends, many of you have traveled a distance to be here with us today. You have sacrificed your time because you've been following the truth that has been portrayed to us by our friends in Gaza, in the West Bank and in occupied Palestine about the brutality of the apartheid state of Israel. And it is damning that our own media in a free South Africa cannot report the truth. We are here to tell the media that as South Africans, we will not tolerate a biased media. Friends, today, all over South Africa and in many parts of the world, we recognize a great leader from our soil, President Nelson Mandela. Many people are giving 67 minutes to his cause. You are giving your 67 minutes and more today because the cause of Palestine is Mandela's cause. Let us be certain that if Mandela was alive, if he was a Palestinian in Gaza, he would be firing Qassam rockets because he is a revolutionary first. He is a freedom fighter first. Remember,
let us not distort history. Nelson Mandela started the armed struggle in this country, which led to our liberation. And we say, freedom or death, victory is certain. Freedom or death, victory is certain. Freedom or death. Come, friends, this is not the first time. In 2008 and 2009, they mercilessly killed over 1,400 Gazan citizens, many of them children. We as the PSA, with our partners, put together a docket which clearly identifies those perpetrators of that genocide, and we will do it again.